there was in Harvard, right, at Kennedy School in Harvard, there was a situation where the ambassador to China made a speech, right?
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a little bit, but basically what happened is you had some youth activists that stood outside, and then they went inside to protest his speech. And his speech was literally propaganda, Chinese state propaganda.
Why is Harvard hosting this dude?
So if you want to say it's like cross-cultural barriers are being knocked down, if you want to say, oh, we're going to have an event where we make dumplings and we learn about the history of China and the Moon Festival or something, right?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But what you have here is you always have officials. It's always freaking government officials.
Why is the China's ambassador to the United States speaking about China's achievements?
So here's the deal.
You know,
we'll get into the content of some of the things he's been saying, because that makes this 10 times worse.
Okay.
But anyway, these brave protesters went in to disrupt this awful speech from an awful government.
Sure.
And more power to them, right?
Sure.
So you go ahead and play. There's a clip of
All right,
what happened.
I'll play it.
It's
Let's
pretty
see.
interesting. Links below as well.
So
you had China lies, people dying. You had some Tibetan activists. You had Chinese activists against the CCP. But let's look at this. I would love you to read this ambassador's quote. And so this is, just imagine this. I want you guys to step outside for a second and think about, imagine a U.S. official went to China and said this. Okay.
Sure.
Which could never happen.
So this guy, the Chinese ambassador, went to the Harvard Kennedy School to give speeches. And this presumably is one of the things he said there. This is one of his tweets. He says, democracy is not an ornament or a show. It should be about solving real problems for the people. From day one of its founding, the CPC, or CCP, whichever you like to call it, is a champion for democracy. Ours is whole process people's democracy. It is a democracy in both process and outcome, a combination of both procedural and substantive and direct and indirect democracy. It is people's democracy in nature and at the same time represents the will of the state. The Kennedy School's decade-long surveys in China showed that over 90% of the Chinese people are satisfied with the central government. Wait, what?
So you have
the will of the state?
You have a dude that makes shit up about China being democracy. By the way, one of the least free countries in the world.
Can we just like, maybe there were some impressionable students sitting in the audience who listened to him say that China is a democracy and they actually bought it. Guys, excuse me, hello. It's one man, Xi Jinping, who gets to say what happens there. There is no democracy in China. It does not have a democracy. People cannot vote.
No.
No one can vote.
It's not even a fake vote like Russia. There is no vote.
Yes, there's no vote. So finally, you get this reader's context thing on X. This is when it's useful. People obviously were like, this is BS, and so they put this in there. It says, the definition of democracy is a system of government in which laws, policies, leadership, and major undertakings of a state or other, policy? Policy? Is it?
Policy, yeah.
That doesn't look like policy to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Policy are directly or indirectly decided by the people. It is misleading to try and redefine the word to fit China's form of governance. See? It is. It's misleading. China's form of governance is not a democracy.
No. It's a dictatorship.
China has realized that people around the world respond positively to the word democracy. They see that as being a good thing. Right?
They also know they can target ABP.
Yes. China is not a democracy. But they know that being called a democracy is good. So now they're like, we're just going to call ourselves a democracy.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. We're just going to say that green is red, and people are just going to have to.
It's like when they write fake papers about like how it's the greenest country in the world, and the most like solar power and all this stuff. All these initiatives and how China actually has the most democratic outcomes of anything, they just make it up.
Yeah.
What's their source?
Oh yeah, this is their source.
My source is that I made it the f*** up.
Seriously though, is it not the most vile and disingenuous thing?
It is.
It's like a man beating little children and saying, I'm a pacifist at the same time. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look, everyone, I'm a pacifist. And everyone's like, no, you're not. Like, yes, I am. And I'm going to beat you up next because he said I'm not. And he keeps beating them. Yeah, I'm a pacifist, aren't I? You know what I mean? It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Imagine this. Harvard Kennedy School. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why are you hosting this man, this liar, this charlatan? Look at him.
Yeah.
It's mendacious. Yeah, let's continue on. So they walked in and this is what they said.
We just got kicked out of our own university. Right now, Xie Feng, the Chinese ambassador to the United States, is inside giving a propaganda speech. We Harvard students went in to tell him that we will not give him this undeserved platform. Xie Feng is spinning bloody lies touting the good China story. Well, this is the real China story. China lies, people die. China lies, people die.
It's a pretty short story.
There's the
Oh, so this is when they got kicked out? Okay.
Xie Feng, you come to paint the illusion of a prosperous China, but your hands are painted with blood. You robbed the Hong Kongers of their most fundamental freedoms and devastated their democracy. Now, in my country, Taiwan, you sought to do the same. Devastated their democracy. Now, in my country, Taiwan, you sought to do the same.
On Saturday morning, we had a group of Harvard students and other youth activists able to take seats in the audience. And one by one, as Ambassador Xie Feng was giving his speech, these activists were able to stand up and disrupt the event.
Free Tibet! How can you be here when the Chinese government is in direct contravention of every human rights law in the world?
We were really happy that we were able to disrupt this event for over 45 minutes. The ambassador was not able to deliver his remarks. And the impact I believe we were able to create was that China's global propaganda strategy is to repeat lies about Tibet, to repeat lies about Taiwan and Hong Kong and East Turkestan, and of all the areas they occupy, repeat these lies as loudly and often as they can at the United Nations and even in Harvard Square. So our goal was to not allow the CCP to have yet another platform where the repetition of these lies can become true.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty despicable, you know, that the universities here are just hosting these
It'd be
people.
one thing if you're an ambassador and you were just doing an innocuous speech about friendship or something, but to drop this stuff about how, like, China's the true democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, just shut up.
Mimi.
She's saying Mimi was
Mimi.
She's calling a cat.
What's this? They're like, oh, look at the sunset.
Yeah, she's like, sunset.
Oh.
That looks like a dog or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to
But
look
it's
like
like
a
his
dog.
wife. Whoops.
Oh,
Two bosses that steal our dynamos. Accusations.
He's supposed to be Chinese, but he knows the Japanese martial arts, but he's not Chinese or Japanese.
Right.
And, you know, it's even better is if you translate the lyrics. It's like, tell me, are you scared? Na 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 na.
When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs.